Hello, everybody. As you guys know, my name is Mark Monroe. We're just putting this out there to our community, the Seller Financing Homes group. Thank you guys all for being part of the community. And also, we'll put it out to a couple other groups called Creative Real Estate Investing, and we'll put it to our podcast people, Real Estate Power Play. But I'm excited. We have Eddie Speed, the king of notes, and I'm excited. He invited me to speak at your event this year. And Eddie, how you doing? Welcome.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I can't complain. Finally getting some nice weather here in South Florida. And I'm looking forward to coming out to Texas and some great weather and some really good food.
Yes, sir. Note Expo is going to be in 8th and 9th of November. And I tell you, man, we've been doing this for more than a dozen years, and it just seems like it's getting better. We've certainly got a captive audience. We've tried to be very careful always about the content and the curriculum that we've put together, and so we're very excited to have you and you a part of that as an expert in the business, and certainly excited to see many of your audience come hang out with us.
Absolutely. How many speakers you guys have?
21. We have 21 speakers. So
That's amazing.
I've been to a lot of trade shows, and I know you have. And I go to these trade shows and they've got these panels and the next panel and the next panel. And I'm just like, oh my God, I can't take it. And I'm like, I want to get you up there for 20 minutes and let you tell a story uninterrupted about some expertise that you have in the business, and then take the next person that I know to be an expert. And then what my idea was is to take all of those and then build it into a chronological story of making good notes and buying good notes.
Nice. And for people that don't know Eddie a little bit, Eddie, why don't you kind of a little bit, when did you do your notes and how many notes have you done? Kind of give a little bit of a background for people that may not know who you are.
Well, I'm an old dog, right? I started buying notes in 1980. So this is my 44th year in the business. And I've been fortunate enough to buy about 50,000 seller finance notes. So it's been a long journey, and but it's been really a fun ride. And people ask me, Eddie, you're kind of old and you're aging out and stuff. What are why are you still doing it? And I'm like, what would I do? I love the business. I really do. I'm not good at fixing things at home, Mark. So I don't want my wife, Martha, to think up a bunch of tasks for me to do that I'm going to fail at. I'm fairly good at fixing a deal. And so let's just stick with that for a while.
I like it. No, that's great. And so you guys listening, especially you guys in the seller financing group, you guys, I see some of you guys out there in some of these other real estate guru coaching programs, and you're just learning some aspects of seller financing, and then you're coming in and you're finding these deals, but you're doing assignments, but you guys are leaving so much money on the table of if you structure it as a note and then selling the note and even being involved in it, it's another door where instead of just going out there in an assignment and you're only going to make like $5,000, $10,000, where you can make a lot more money if you're structuring the note the correct way. What are your thoughts on that, Eddie?
Well, the reason I've done so many notes is I've worked backwards with real estate investors to help them make better notes. If you can make a better note, you've made a note that's more valuable. You've made a note that's going to have a more consistent pay history. You have structure to it, right? You can't imagine going out and building a house without any form of a blueprint, right? You'd have to know what the measurements are. You wouldn't know where to put the front door, right? You wouldn't know, and so that a note is no different, and we have a lot of history of doing it. And so some of the largest real estate investors in the country that have utilized seller financing have gone to us then and said, okay, help us with a blueprint, a recipe of how to make good notes. And then all of a sudden, then you can then learn what to do in making your note, how to structure the terms, how to qualify the buyer. What have we learned in 40 something years that may be valuable to you? And that's a lot, Mark, of what we're going to do at Note Expo is take experts throughout the business and really talk about how to make the best notes. What have I learned in all these years that if you started out, you'd really want to know that. And so I just am simply looking at us and saying we can give a compression of time, which is what people want the most, right? Their time back. And so that's really our vision about it. We've got some, I believe, the most outstanding speakers in the business that are experts within prospective fields. And I think it's going to be really fun. Yes, we've been a convention that had some panels in the past. We weren't all panels for sure. But I look back and think that my learning experience can be a lot more if I just had a story that tied together and I got to hear a lot of different dimensions of how people would say, this is my expertise and this is what I learned. And we're just making that what it's about. Now, we've got a really, really, really cool keynote speaker on the first day, Dr. Don Davis, who, if you're an NFL fan, you know he's got 2 Super Bowl rings with the Patriots, and he is in charge of player affairs for the NFL right now. So he's our inspirational speaker. That's pretty cool, huh?
Very cool. I'm looking forward to that one.
And then on the second day, our second keynote speaker he's a long friend of mine named Cade Thompson. He is like the guy in the mortgage origination business that is bringing the highest level of technology to the industry. They're developing AI that can read over 100,000 pages of documents in an hour. They're building blockchain to the mortgage origination business so that they can securitize loans in like a day or two. And so he is running a lot of those campaigns for the top clients in the entire industry. And he's going to talk about how technology drastically is going to change everything down to the seller finance business, Mark.
It's amazing. I mean, think about it. I mean, I'm old school, but now you got a little bit more than I do. But even when I got into the game, I remember the closing documents were like this, and we didn't even have fax machines at the time. We had to overnight packages. We
Yeah.
Airborne was pretty popular back then.
Yeah. Yeah, we're so excited. We're bringing in a cast of different speakers. Some of them we have a group that's going to come in and talk about a true alternative to title insurance. And it costs probably a fourth of the money of title insurance. And by the way, this is already approved by Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, VA, and FHA.
Wow,
And people don't know about it.
I don't even
So
know about it.
we're trying to bring in some really cutting edge stuff that is talking about the business and how it works and best practices. And, I say that the information on stage is free. You come because of the community. You come because of relationships, of connections like you and I have, Mark, and how we've gotten to know each other at other events, right? And the creativity and the value of having a meeting a vendor that can do something that you never knew could do before, or is the boots on the ground when you don't want to have your boots on the ground, right? Or whatever that can look like. So I look at that as all just an environment of community. And then I think just the incredibly good content we'll have for the couple of days, it's almost like a bonus.
I'm excited every time I go to an event. The value that I pick up at these events and the networking is just always lifting you to another level. So you guys, if you're out there and you're listening to us right now, highly recommend getting to these events and just start learning. And this is an amazing one, especially if you're doing seller financing, you're buying properties. This is just opening another whole gateway, another doorway for you to kind of get out there and start learning. And I know a lot of you guys reached out to me and like, hey, I want to learn a little bit more about notes. And I know a lot of people post questions in the group about notes. So you guys are listening and asking questions. This is a huge opportunity to come out there. And this is to network with people that are doing this, actually doing it for years. And Eddie, I know you've been in it for so long. You've also been involved in helping um, push litigation through when governments and states and always are coming down and like, hey, this or that. You guys are always been involved, so you have your pulse on the ground with even in regulations in the note industry.
The only panel we're going to have is our panel on the Seller Finance Coalition, and it's more of a community story, and it makes more sense to do it in that format. But yeah, we'll have founding members of the Seller Finance Coalition. I'll be one of those. Jeff Watson will be one. If you guys read Jeff's stuff and you know how sharp he is, and so I called Jeff in. Jeff has been my attorney for many years, and so I called Jeff in many years ago and said, Jeff, this industry has got to have, there's a saying about Washington D.C. or even at the state level, right? You're either you have a seat at the table or you're on the menu. Well, you'd rather have a seat at the table than be on the menu, right? And so we have an effort. We're going to talk a lot. There was a big deal, Mark. You helped us with this. There was a big deal in Texas um, that I've recently testified for the Texas Finance Commission about the subject of seller financing and utilizing RMLOs and some of the other regulations that they have. And I had the good fortune of kind of representing our industry, testifying. This is all financing in the state of Texas, right? So it was not even just seller financing or even just mortgages. And so this was their board meeting. And so I had the opportunity to testify and kind of tell them about our industry and tell them about things that we did well and tell them how we utilize vendors like third-party RMLOs to do it the best way. So we'll talk about that. That'll be certainly a panel that we do, and there'll be information that people can learn there more about it and what that looks like. So Mark, I formed this convention, this expo, more than a dozen years ago, and the reason that I did is I looked around the industry, and obviously, our friend Nathan Turner has DME today, and he's in the industry. But you look for years and years, anybody that put on a trade show, they weren't in the note business. They weren't in the business. They didn't know the people that were making the right decisions, and they didn't know the topics that you and I face every day in the business. And so we did this as an industry give back to really help, like, let's get it out there on the surface and let's help people with the things that we need the most help with. So we did a lot of research before we kind of planned the curriculum, and we asked people out there what they really wanted to learn and what they felt like that would be best. And so the curriculum that we've come up with is a result of what the audience said.
Oh, this is awesome. So once again, we're going to actually put a link below wherever you're watching this video. There'll be a link below to be able to get some more information and order your tickets and do and read. I think you may even have a list of the speakers on there as well through the link. So Eddie, again,
The link's
where and when?
important, Mark, because we've given your team a discount, right?
Yes. Oh, I
So
forgot to mention that.
it's pretty
Yes, sorry.
critical,
Thanks
right?
for reminding that. Thanks for reminding that. Yeah, so there is a discount in the code below. So yeah, I totally forgot about that. But yes, so thank you, Eddie, for helping out with that, giving everybody that's listening to this and part of the seller financing group the discount code for that. So Eddie, again, when is this? The
It
date and
is
when?
November 8th and 9th. So it's a Friday and a Saturday. And it's going to be in Dallas, Texas. It'll be at a Westin hotel at the Galleria in Dallas. So it's very nice location, very nice hotel. And man, we're fired up.
I'm looking forward to it. So guys, I will see you guys at the show, and Eddie will see you guys. So if you're there and you watch this video, come up and shake our hand and say thank you so much. So we appreciate it. So everybody, looking forward to it. Eddie, thank you so much for coming on, and we will see you guys in a couple weeks.
All
See you
right.
guys.
Bye
Bye.
bye.